Welcome everyone to the latest report for the channel. So got a Chaos Daemons battle report coming at you here. Played a 2,000 point retrieval mission against a Tau Empire army. New player showed up at the store and surprisingly brought Tau. We've got multiple Tau armies now at the store that I play in, which is surprising given we only have about, I'd say, 8 to 10 players, and there are 3 Tau players. So maybe that'll be good for us when the new Tau Codex comes out here in the not too distant future. Maybe it won't be that great for us with all these Tau players running around. We'll see. Anyways, on to the army list and the report. So I decided to play a fun list for a change. Well, not for a change, but just because I had finished painting up both my Slaanesh and my Nurgle Soul Grinders, and I finished putting together my Tzeentch Demon Prince. I haven't painted him yet, but I had him assembled, and I figured, why not play the Princes and Grinders? So I brought out all 5 Demon Princes, including Be'lakor, and one of each of the 4 gods, plus one of each Soul Grinder. It's about 1970-something points. Each of the Demon Princes on the bottom, they all have Warp Bolters to go along with wings on 3 of them. And because I was feeling squirrely, I went ahead and spent command points to give each of the Demon Princes of Khorne, Nurgle, and Slaanesh their special relic weapon. So I'm going to start the game with 2 command points, and we'll go from there. Let's see, the Tau list. So his was very different from what I'm used to seeing. He brought Shadow Sun and a single Tau commander, and I don't remember what all of the guys had as far as weapons go. The Tau commander had, I think, a lot of missiles. Basically, he basically had a lot of Strength 7 Strength 7 D3 damage shots, whatever those were. He had a couple of Cadre Fireblades who basically just fired marker lights the whole time. He had some small units of Fire Warriors. Looks like 3 of them. I think they were all 7 strong. One might have had 8. He had a couple of small Pathfinder units. He had 3 stealth suits. He had a couple of Ghost Kills and a couple of Riptide. And the Ghost Kills had the multiple, I guess, Melt-A-Guns, basically what they were. And the Riptides had just a whole lot of DAC, just a whole lot of Strength 5 shooting, if I remember rightly. And then the thing that made his army different from most armies I had seen is he just brought drones. Lots and lots of drones. He had repair drones and shield drones all around his Riptide, so they were basically impossible to shoot at. And then he just had a lot of gun drones and marker light drones floating around with the rest of his units. So I didn't get details of all of the drones and where they were. So anyways, but yeah, it was an interesting alternative. I haven't seen a lot of people play with nearly that many drones before. So we put out our 4 markers, 4 objectives, and my opponent placed the last objective, so he got to roll for the deployment type. He rolled up Search and Destroy. And this is basically my deployment. This is my entire army. Flunked that right together, so you can see the Princes in the middle with the Soul Grinders around him, Nurgle at the top right, Slaanesh at the top left, Tzeentch bottom left, Khorne bottom right, and then the Demon Princes are basically next to each one. The Slaanesh and Tzeentch guy are, the Tzeentch is the unpainted Demon Prince, as before. So there you go. This is just another angle. And another angle here. And on to my opponent's deployment. So he put his commander in reserve, Deep Strike reserve. He put a Ghost Kill down in the corner here, sort of out of the picture. Sorry about that. I didn't get him in a photo during deployment. But you can see most of his army here. And you can see what I mean by all the drones. They're just everywhere. So the Pathfinders are the guys with the red bases there on the bottom left, and then Fire Warriors back across the right, the Riptides, Shadow Sun's there in the middle, going to pass out reroll buffs to everything early on, and then some Pathfinders and another Fireblade up in the tower ruins in the back corner there. And this is the other end of his line here. And so you can see here 3 of the objectives. One of the objectives is over near where the Ghost Kill was at the start on the back left. But you can see the other 3 objectives are here more or less in the middle. Since it's an objective-based mission, I figure this is more or less where I'm going to put most of my guys. And he's done me, I guess, something of a favor in the sense that there are the 3 stealth suits are back behind that bunker with a couple of gun drones or shield drones or something. And then the second ghost kill is over here in this corner with a couple of drones, if I remember rightly. So I'm gonna have to deal with this stuff and then try to get these objectives, and we'll see from there. We roll off. I rolled a 2. I finished deploying first, so I got the +1. I rolled a 3 total. He rolled a 3. We re-rolled. He rolled a 5. I rolled a 1. So the +1 meant nothing. He get the first turn. I didn't even roll to steal the initiative. I don't know why I didn't. I just forgot. Oh well. So he moves over this way with the ghost kill, trying to draw bead on the Nurgle Soul Grinder. Stealth suits hop up, shoot at it. And this ghost kill moves around here. He's going to draw down on the Slaanesh Soul Grinder. So you can see he puts a bunch of wounds on here. He took 5 wounds off this Soul Grinder during his shooting phase. But because my Prince standing right behind it has Fleshy Abundance, I'm not too terribly worried about it if I can roll halfway decent on my Psychic phase. This guy, though, whew, yeah, took 10 wounds off of this guy with all of his shooting over on the other side. Just painful. So yeah, that Soul Grinder's not long for this world. But that was it. So we go on to Chaos Daemons turn 1. I move as fast as I can with this Soul Grinder over here, and this is where the lack of Locust ability was really felt, because I would have really liked to have been able to advance with this Soul Grinder, and then had my Demon Prince with the Locust nearby, who would also have advanced, and then the 2 of them could have had potentially much shorter charges on this ghost kill, but oh well. So you can see over here, the Slaanesh and the Tzeentch guys are pushing up here. The Khorne and Nurgle guys are going to take with Bala Khor to go deal with the guys over on the right. During Overwatch, because I only had 4 wounds left, he gets 1 hit with his fancy Melt-A-Guns and kills that Soul Grinder. He does not explode, thankfully, so that's something. I do heal the Nurgle Soul Grinder, I think for 3 points, so I put him back up to 12 with Fleshy Abundance, so that was good. I do a few mortal wounds here and there. I basically pick off drones. One of the like 2-man drone units somewhere. I think it was the one up by the stealth suits on top of that little ruin bunker. That stealth suit, or sorry, that gun drone unit died, so I got first blood for killing a couple of drones. So all right, that's a victory point. Over here was a little depressing. Soul Grinder comes in, and I think it might have taken a little bit of damage in Overwatch. I'm not sure. But it makes the charge into both the Ghost Kill and the Stealth Suits, and my thought was, now that it shut down the Overwatch, I'll charge with the Demon Princes. If they make it in, they should deal with the Ghost Kill pretty quickly. I'll roll the Nurgle guy first, and then I'll roll the Khorne guy. That should take care of the drones, maybe, we'll see, and I can probably get the Ghost Kill in one go, if I can make the charge. Problem is, these were both like 8-inch charges, and I did not roll very well at all, so that was sad. My attacks, I don't think I even did any damage, because I was at -2 to hit on the Ghost Kill with the Soul Grinder, so I attacked the Stealth Suits, and I think whatever hitting I didn't do any wounds or something. That was awful. It was just not good at all. And I've even got the 10 attacks. So, Tau turn 2. He doesn't have to move these guys much at all, so I don't think he does in order to shoot at the guys over here on my side. He might have moved his commander around a little bit to draw line of sight, but I don't think he moved him much at all. These guys shuffle up a little bit just to get closer to objectives and maybe draw lines of fire for things coming up. And over here, he's going to pull these guys out of combat, obviously, with the Soul Grinder and shoot. During the shooting phase, he wastes the Tzeentch Soul Grinder with the Riptides and the Ghost Kill and the other stuff over here. It does not explode, but it's 2 turns and 2 grinders gone. Yeah, so the 2 there is his marker light dice on the Soul Grinder. That's not wounds on the Demon Princes. Over here, so he pulls out of combat, and I think he puts a wound back on the Soul Grinder. And I have to admit, I have been rolling crazy good for the Soul Grinder's invulnerable save. I probably made 5 out of 6, 5 out of 7 invulnerable saves on him, and the ones that I didn't make were on fairly innocuous 1 wound shooting attacks. So yeah, getting lucky with that guy. And he doesn't do anything over here. Obviously, he's not going to assault me. He doesn't want to get anywhere near me if he can help it. And these guys over here, he doesn't target them because I think he used all of his shooting to kill the Soul Grinder. So we go to Chaos turn 2. This Demon Prince hops over here. He's going to use the Pavane on the unit of troops behind. He's going to shoot at some stuff, and then he's going to try to assault the Ghost Kill and hope to be able to do something with the Wit Stealer Sword. Take it down. These guys push up here. I advanced the Soul Grinder, and my advances, I have to admit, I think I advanced the Soul Grinder both turns, and I've rolled like a 1 or a 2 with it. And again, because I only have like 2 command points, I don't really feel like I can be spending command points to re-roll in advance. What I need them for is to re-roll other things. And I would have re-rolled my charge moves the last turn for the Demon Princes into the Ghost Kill, but they were so bad. I mean, I think I rolled like a 1 and a 2 on one, and I rolled a pair of 2s on the other. So yeah, so I still have 2 command points. Much good as they're doing me. Over here, the Demon Princes hop down, so they're going to be able to get at the Ghost Kill. And Baelacor and the Soul Grinder are move over here. And I can't remember if this is after the heal on the Soul Grinder. I think he might have been 11 last turn. I was up to 12, so I put another wound back on him in the psychic phase. I think this is showing that I killed maybe 1 guy with. Oh, that's right. I think I killed maybe 1 Pathfinder, 1 Fire Warrior, or no, sorry, I killed the drones. That's what it is. I killed the gun drones over to the side, and then I tried to assault with the Tzeentch Demon Prince, and he failed the charge. That's what it is. These guys make the charge easily, and I can't remember if the... Yeah, so I made the charge, and then basically the way it worked out, he didn't take damage on, or he took damage from corruption, but didn't take that much of it, and because they were only D3, he sort of let it go because he was worried about the D6 from the big axe on the corn guy, and rightly so. However it worked out, the corn guy basically ended up killing the drones, and maybe I just screwed up and attacked with the axe first. He took the drones off with the 1 or 2 axes that went through, and then we did 5 damage with the Nurgle Prince, which is not bad, but we didn't kill this guy because he flies. He's going to be able to hop out of combat and shoot me, which not good. Over here, Baelacor gets a long charge. I charged with the Soul Grinder first. I think he took another damage from Overwatch, so he's back down to 11. Baelacor rolled like a boxcar for his charge and hopped over, and then ate that unit of stealth suits, and the Soul Grinder moved out to cover Baelacor. And I made the charge over here. I killed the drone. I think I killed 1 with something. I don't remember what it was. Because I went first, I got 1 wound through, which was 3 damage. So this Ghost Kill goes from 10 wounds to 7. It hits back, and I take like 2 damage. So that's not great. We go to turn 3 for the Tau Empire. He hops out of combat again with this Ghost Kill. Yeah, these guys hop away. And he gets 1 marker light hit, which is really all he needs for the reroll 1s. And then between the Ghost Kill and the Fire Warriors, he's able to gun down this Demon Prince. So that's all the slashy guys. They did not do well in this game. Did not last long. The Ghost Kill is able to get 1 like nasty melt to hit through on this Demon Prince because it was only 1 and he couldn't kill me. I let it go. He still rolled a 6 for the damage. He puts another wound on the Soul Grinder, I think. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that's a mistake. But either way, he does, however, hit my Tzeentch Prince for 3 damage, or 1 damage, and he hits my Soul Grinder on the right here with Riptides for, I think, 9 damage in 1 round. Maybe that's an 8 and it's 6 damage, but anyways, still hurting. So there's just sort of an overview of the board. Again, not really playing the objective at this point, still trying to kill things. At least that's my perspective. That's what I'm trying to do. And you see the back half of the board over here. So we go to turn 3 for the Chaos Demons. We surround the Ghost Kill again, and now my thought is, okay, we're going to charge with the Nurgle Prince. If he takes damage, he can heal himself with Fleshy Abundance, so it's fine. The Khorne guy will then basically just hide back here and claim this objective, and the Nurgle Prince will head off after the Ghost Kill's dead. Over here we move up, and this is just massive overkill. My thought here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these 2 Soul Grinders into this Fire Warrior squad, and clean them out with the Soul Grinders. I'm kind of thinking that I want to keep this Khorne Soul Grinder near this objective number 1. The other Soul Grinder will secure objective number 4, and then Be'lakor and the Tzeentch Prince, they're actually trying to get past this front Fire Warrior unit into the back Fire Warrior unit and maybe take out the Cadre Fireblade in that Fire Warrior unit is the thought. Psychic shenanigans happen, kill some guys, get into close combat here. It works the way it's supposed to. We come in, the Nurgle Prince or the Khorne Prince 1 cleans them up in one go. I think it was the Nurgle Prince who did it. And we're able to get the Khorne Prince up where he can't be shot. So yeah, I don't think any of his guys can see the Khorne Prince where he's standing there behind that tower. So that's working out okay for me. Over here, Be'lakor rolled pretty meh for his charge. So he was basically only able to charge into the Fire Warrior unit. The Fire Warriors died horribly to Soul Grinder attacks. The Nurgle guy, you can see the Nurgle guy has been healed back up to 13 now, so he's almost back to full. There's another good Fleshy Abundance. The Tzeentch Prince is able to go in and kill the Fire Warrior squad. He couldn't get to the Cadre Fireblade. My hope was that if Be'lakor had rolled like an 8 or a 9 for his charge, whatever it was that he needed, he didn't need a whole lot, a little better than average dice, I think, about an 8. Be'lakor was going to come in and go first and probably clean out the Fire Warriors, and the the Tzeentch Prince would then have declared his charge against the Fire Warriors and the Cadre Fireblade, and so would have been able to then consolidate into the Fireblade and kill the Fireblade. Was the plan. It didn't work out that way because Be'lakor, like I said, he rolled like a 5 for his charge, and so couldn't do much. But the end result here, you can see I do go into combat with the Fireblade, so at least I shut down his Marker Light for a turn. I guess that's something. The rest of the guys just sort of consolidate, and yeah, you can see my Khorne guy is down to 5 wounds. Yeah, so he took 9 damage that last round of shooting. Oof. The Nurgle guy above has probably taken the same amount, 9 or 10 damage over the course of the battle, but he's still at 13 because that Fleshy Abundance is doing some serious work. We go into Tau Empire turn 4. So he falls back out of combat. He's going to turn all of his guns on the Tzeentch Prince here. And so you can see some of his, the right of his line here. This Ghost Kill is going to hop up onto the ruins, and the commander is going to come around to the right. Yeah, so you can see there the Ghost Kill getting into position. And his shooting, I think he takes 1 wound off the Soul Grinder, so it's down to its lowest bracket, lowest wound line. Profile. There we go. Lowest profile. The Demon Prince takes a lot of shooting. That invulnerable save and the armor save did some serious work, but wasn't enough, and it died. And back over here, we're still fine. Nothing to shoot at them. So again, the Khorne guy is going to hide behind the tower. The Nurgle guy is going to go and help his friends. So go to Chaos Demons turn 4. I advance the Nurgle Prince up where you can see him there. He can barely see the Ghost Kill, so he'll be able to shoot at the Ghost Kill. He can't see the commander though, and that was a bit of a bad play on my part. The Khorne guy hides, claiming the objective. The Soul Grinders, basically the Nurgle Grinder just stays in place. It's sitting on top of that objective. It's going to use its shooting to shoot at the Ghost Kill. as is the Khorne guy, and then Be'lakor is going to assault the commander, and the Khorne guy is going to hopefully come with him, and the two of them should be able to kill the commander. Flesh Abundance goes off on this guy, and he's back up to full wounds, so he's taking a lot of damage, but you couldn't tell from the looks of things. During the shooting phase, I get the ghost kill down to 2 wounds, I think. And if my Warp Bolter had gone through, I could have killed the ghost kill with the Warp Bolter off the Nurgle Prince. So it just barely, almost got it. The Soul Grinder, the Nurgle Grinder, was on point. Did like 5 damage, so that was pretty good. And I think I did some psychic damage to the commander with Be'lakor. So he's on like 2 or 3 wounds left. Be'lakor assaults the commander. The commander gets a couple of hits through, a couple of wounds through, and Be'lakor failed the first 2 saves, but because he's got a rerollable 5-up invul, made the second 2 saves, took no damage. The Khorne guy moves in mainly just to keep Be'lakor covered from enemy shooting, and Be'lakor in the combat phase wipes out the enemy commander. So, not his warlord. Shadow Sun's his warlord. And so just my Nurgle guy hanging out here. Khorne guy hanging out by the objective. And we go on now to turn 5 for the Tau Empire, so possibly the last turn. Let's see, so he's now realizing he's got to get up and contest these objectives, so he brings these drones around. They're just over an inch away from the Soul Grinder, but close enough they're going to be able to contest. He activates the jump ability on his Riptides, and he's been overcharging the Riptides throughout the game, but he's got the Feel No Pain thing, so they didn't always take damage, and then he's got enough repair drones hanging out in his back line that he basically repaired them back up to full health at one point, and then they might now have each taken a wound or 2, so they're pretty healthy. So, but he moves this guy, he overcharges the thing, uses the jump to get up here, and then he's basically going to use the jet move in the charge phase or the fight phase or whatever to move again and try to get to the other objective here near where Be'lakor is. This guy comes around this way. Again, he's putting guys over here to make sure he gets his objective. After all, the drones are fairly easy to kill. Those two drones could die to a Warp Bolter if I roll halfway decent. And the Fire Warriors aren't exactly going to stand up to much of anything. So he's thinking he's going to need this guy over here if the game goes any kind of distance. And I understand that. These guys are just camping in the tower. So shooting Ghost Kill, I think, wasted the Soul Grinder. It might have been one of the Riptides. It was probably one of the Riptides, actually, I think about it. The Ghost Kills were scary, but I was able to roll too many 5-up invuls. Although my Soul Grinder did explode and put 2 mortal wounds on Be'lakor, so I was a little bit unhappy with him for that. And I'm out of command points at this stage, so wasn't anything I could do about it. Let's see. So you can see the Riptide has jumped up here. He used the 2d6 movement thing, and he rolled like an 11 for it, so it got way up. And then, surprising to me, he asked if Be'lakor had a shooting attack, and I said no, he's no Overwatch or anything. So he charged the Ghost Kill in. It did a couple of wounds to Be'lakor, but Be'lakor is going to own this guy. And yeah, so this move surprised me a little bit because he went ahead and charged the shield drones in as well. And I don't know if he was worried about my shooting. Maybe he was because the previous turn, this Soul Grinder had actually done some pretty decent shooting. So maybe he was thinking, if he just sits there, I'm going to get to shoot with my Harvester gun and the Flame Bombardment, and then I'm going to assault as well. So maybe he was thinking, this is better. I don't know. But so he went ahead and assaulted me. And he actually brought in the Cadre Fireblade. And again, I thought this was really odd. Now, this Fireblade actually should have some wounds on him already, if I remember rightly. He took 2 wounds. Yeah, he took 2 wounds from a Psychic Power or something at one point. But anyways, the Soul Grinder's got 10 attacks at this point because he's got the Daemon Bone Claw. So I can just go to town with a number of hits here. I was a little surprised by this, but anyways. Be'lakor does exactly what I expected and paced the floor with the Ghost Kill and is going to turn his attention to the Riptide. And this is after combat. So this was unexpected. So this Nurgle Soul Grinder has been having himself a really good game, and apparently he decided that the rest of these things were beneath his attention at this point, and so he just rolled like garbage, really. It was kind of funny. So now Baelacor and my Nurgle Prince are thinking, maybe we got to go bail him out. I don't know. So we got a Chaos Demons turn 5. So yeah, I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, I could get the Riptide, but it's got Invul, it's got a lot of wounds. Yeah, I could cast a Death Hex and maybe turn off its Invul. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I don't have any command points left. And every time I've tried to cast it so far this game, I've rolled less than an 8. It hasn't gone off once. So maybe we don't do that, and we go instead and use Baelacor to clear out the drones or the what do you call it? The Fireblade, and we'll just use this Nurgle guy to come up and contest the objective with the Riptide. I think that's probably the way to go. So this guy, again, hiding, which feels so wrong to hide a Khorne Demon Prince back here, but he's on 2 wounds and he's accomplishing the mission, so. Alright, between Psychic Powers, shooting, close combat, I think we get the Riptide down to 6 wounds, which is not bad. We're both sitting right on top of the objective, so one unit each, or one model each within range, so it's contested. Over here, so I think what happened was Baelacor cast some Psychic Powers on the Fireblade, and I think my opponent decided that because the drones had the better saves in terms of Invul save and Feel No Pain, that it was better to keep the shield drones alive and let the Fireblade die to the mortal wounds. So he pulled the Fireblade. Baelacor came around and killed 3 of the shield drones, and it was really close actually, because since I got all the wounds through fine. I got all the wounds, hits and wounds with Baelacor, but he only failed 3 of his invulnerable saves. The sword does 3 damage apiece, and he rolled a 4-5-6, a 4-5-5, and a 4-6-6 on his Feel No Pains. So because it's a 5-up, he failed all of them, but he made 2 out of 3 Feel No Pains on every single one of those rolls. It was so close to being a really amazing save all the way around. End result, he went down to 1 shield drone. The Soul Grinder, who still has 10 attacks, 5 base, doubled for the Demon Bone Claw, mopped the floor with the remaining shield drone. And then I went ahead and did the Consolidate move, or whatever it is, for the Soul Grinder, and finished getting all the way into his deployment zone at this point. And I think I was looking at it, the Soul Grinder was close to being in his deployment zone, but hadn't quite gotten there before the combat started, before he charged me with the drones. And when he did that, I saw that, I was like, oh no, if he could keep me out and we ended up splitting objectives, he could actually turn this into a draw. So I was really happy to get the Soul Grinder over the line here, because I'm looking at it and thinking that 1 victory point might make all the difference if we split on objectives. He's got Slay the Warlord right now, but I've got First Blood and Line Breaker, is my thinking. So we roll to see if there's another turn. Sorry. That was premature on the drama. You can see his back line there. He's got 1 objective. We roll for another turn. He rolls a 2. The game ends. So on victory points, it's going to be 8-4 technically. I got 3 points for 2 objectives. First Blood and Line Breaker for 8. He got an objective and Slay the Warlord for a total of 4. So I don't often do this, but I felt in this game it was totally warranted. These right here, these are my MVPs. The combination of these 2 models was pretty ridiculous. The Nurgle Prince did okay in terms of damage. He was in the right place at the right time and helped out. Helped kill the ghost kill, and was able to get back and help out a little bit with some fire warriors here and there with like bolter shooting. He picked off a couple of guys here or there, and he might have even been the one who killed 1 or both of the what do you call them? Shield, or the drones at the beginning of the game, and might have picked up first blood, if I remember rightly. But anyways, the big thing, though, was healing that Nurgle Soul Grinder. Oh my goodness. Like I said, he probably put 10 or 12 wounds on that Soul Grinder over the course of the game, and he finished the game at full health, which is just amazing. So the result of the game was a Chaos Daemons victory. I really did feel the absence of the cheap screening units in this game. There were a couple of moments where my opponent decided to focus in on the Soul Grinders and kill them as opposed to picking off Demon Princes. And I think in the end he felt that the Demon Princes were tough, but not as necessarily, I guess, I don't want to say this, because of their lower wounds and same basic stats in terms of toughness, invul saves, armor saves, etc., that he felt the Soul Grinders needed his attention when he could shoot at them. And it seemed to work for the most part. The only one he couldn't really scratch was the Nurgle Soul Grinder. That one just, I mean, he damaged it, but it just made so many saves. It was amazing. The Slaaneshi one and the Tzeentch one went down. I mean, they hit the floor hard early in the game. And that left those princes over there on that side kind of exposed. And in those moments, I really felt the lack of the cheap screening units because, you know, you want your characters like Demon Princes surrounded by cheap infantry that your opponent has to chew through before they can shoot at your more valuable and expensive characters. And like I said, it maybe didn't show in the report because my opponent targeted Soul Grinders over Princes, but he could have done differently, and I don't know if it would have worked out better for him in the end, but it was something I was worried about. And so, in thinking about it, if I'm honest, it's sort of the choice between Nurgle and Tzeentch. If I'm trying to play obviously Mono God, we're going Khorne, we're going Locust, we're going just blood mad units, run forward and hack and slash. Then sure, Bloodletters, obviously, because they're the only option. But if I'm building sort of a mixed list, I'm again leaning towards, because again, from my perspective, what I take to be my two most powerful, effective demon options are the Tzeentch guys and the Nurgle guys. They're my top two tiers. And so if I'm looking to build a more dynamic, effective army, not necessarily for tournament play, because there just don't seem to be any tournaments really around here unless I want to travel to Houston or Dallas or some of the other surrounding areas, which I could do. I just don't know that I really care to. But if I'm looking to give my regular opponents, I guess, a sterner test, especially if they're players that are interested in playing tournaments or interested in playing more competitively, if they want to play against those sorts of lists, what's the better choice, the better option? Nurgle infantry or horrors? And I don't know. I'm not sure it would have made much difference against the Tau. The Nurgle guys might be harder to kill with a 5+ invul and a 5+ feel no pain. Their toughness 4 is irrelevant against the Tau, obviously. Everything in the Tau army being strength 5 or higher. Versus the horrors, who can shoot back, and so theoretically could kill some more, I guess maybe mostly fire warriors, really. But could do some serious damage against them, and still have a 4++. So that's solid. I'll admit, this is one of the few times where I saw, I've heard from folks in the past, some folks are coming on the channel, and I know one of the guys that I play with who plays Thousand Suns really likes the look of the horror bomb, 30 horrors with 3 shots apiece, plus a herald, so they're strength 4 and all of that. I could actually have seen an opportunity here where against the Tau, if I could have dropped 30 horrors from Deep Strike on turn 1 on top of that bunker complex in the middle of the table, right in the middle of his lines and shot at all of those infantry units he has, so all of the fire warriors and all of the drones, and just laid waste across his lines to that. Turn 1, and then obviously he'd had to deal with that unit. Okay, whatever's left of that unit, maybe on the next turn is able to shoot at some stuff and finish the job it started, or just be really obnoxious for the rest of the game. Okay, fair enough. This was an opportunity where that would have been a good choice. And in fairness to folks that I've talked to in the past or made some comments to on YouTube in other videos, absolutely, this is the sort of situation where the increased range, where the 18-inch range of the horrors would have been a lot better, because if my opponent in this game, and obviously I didn't have the horror bomb, so he didn't need to worry about it or react to it, but if he didn't do a good job of spreading out his guys, when that unit hits the 18-inch range, that extra 6 inches worth of shooting could have been the difference between being able to hit, say, the Pathfinders on the one side, plus the Fire Warriors on this other flank, plus the Fire Warriors that might have been behind some stuff, plus the Shield Drones at the back, and really decimate a lot of units all at once with one unit deep striking into his midst. So that's certainly something that I will consider. I will certainly think about it. Again, I don't really have the pink cards to pull it off. Or maybe I have enough to do one unit, but then it would be one big unit of pink horrors, and then I guess some blues and brimstones as cheap chaff blockers, which maybe not the worst idea. So, anyways, I might try it out. But again, it's so hard for me to get away from the flamers when I'm playing Tzeentch. Anyways, the loci, the lack of them in this game was very noticeable. And I freely admit that this was a gimmicky list. This is not a competitive list at all, I don't think. But yeah, the Slaanesh Prince and the Slaanesh Soul Grinder could have theoretically charged turn 1 against the Ghost Kill. And again, the Slaaneshi Soul Grinder died to Overwatch, but I think I rolled the die for it, and just a sort of well, if you didn't kill it, would I have made the charge? And I wouldn't have. But if I'd had the advance, so if I could have run the Soul Grinder D6 inches forward, and then assaulted because my Slaaneshi guy would have been within range with the Locust, I think I probably would have made it. So that was one that hurt. I mean, in the end, I guess not really, because he killed the Soul Grinder anyways. But maybe the Prince would have been also close enough that he could have advanced, and then with the Locust could have also charged, and maybe he would have made the charge turn 1. It probably wouldn't have changed much, in the sense of he killed the Ghost Kill. But maybe it would have been enough to force his hand in dealing with the Prince, and maybe my Tzeentch Grinder would have lived, and maybe the Prince would have lived too, and so it would have gotten longer with both of them. I don't know. Just a thought. But the Khorne guy, definitely, he needed an 8 to make that charge against the Ghost Kill turn 1 when the Nurgle Grinder got in there and tied him up, and I think, like I said, I rolled a 1 and a 2 for his charge, or I rolled a pair of 2s for his charge, so it wasn't even worth it to try to do the reroll because I needed a 6. But if I could have Khorne Locust rerolled, it's not guaranteed, obviously, but it might have made all the difference. So between the lack of Locust and the lack of command points, oh my goodness, because I spent 3 command points on the relics just to get the swords to everybody, the 2 swords and the axe out to the princes, and then had basically nothing for the rest of the game. I had 2 that I was like, I really want to use them, and I think I used 1 to prevent an explosion. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I used 1 of them when the Tzeentch guy died because he exploded, and I re-rolled it because I didn't want both of those princes next to him taking the D6 or the D3 mortal wounds. So I re-rolled it into not being an explosion. And it was further compounded, it felt like, because my opponent, again,
had or maybe I didn't mention this, but he had a relic that gave him the command points back on a roll of a 6. Every time somebody spent command points, he rolled a die, and on a 6 he gets a command point back. And he probably got 4 or 5 where he spent a command point to do a reroll, and then and then rolled a 6 and didn't spend the command point, basically. That probably happened at least 4 times during the game. And I don't think he got anything from me using my command points, because again, I really only had 2 once the game began. But yeah, the difference was noticeable. And reason why I think the meta is what it is these days. These sort of elite armies, they were the thing in the past. They were the 7th ed or 6th ed maybe. 7th ed probably more so. I didn't play a lot of 7th, I'll admit. So, oh well. It was an interesting experience. Surprised I got the victory. Would not expect this army to hold up against most others over the long term. So I'm probably not going to play it very often. Probably going to focus more on more traditional style armies with demons. But maybe in the future, if I'm feeling squirrely, I'll pull the princes and grinders back out, or maybe we'll go bigger and we'll go graders and grinders just to see how that goes. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the report and the little bit of rambling here at the end, and it hasn't been too long. And you'll be back here for more on the channel. If we didn't get it right this time, hopefully we'll do better next time.